gents, to another episode of the Panther Spot podcast. I'm your host, Philosophy Panther. Tonight we're going to take it a little slow, or at least that'll be the attempt. There's so many things that I want to take time to discuss and talk about and dissect, but this topic was shared amongst my peers. I wanted to talk to you guys and start out by saying this. Ladies, we're going to talk about you tonight. Men, don't hoorah, because when I talk about you guys, you get frustrated. But tonight, I want to talk about not just something that seems to be a problem, but more or less something that could be subconscious. Something that you don't even realize you're doing yourself, and that men do it all the time as well. That people do it in general, but I had a thought, and crucify me if you will, but women, ladies in general, females, I think sometimes you damage your chances of being happy before they even start because you're intimidated. You know, the ones who jump at the chances, then I'm not talking about you guys, but you few ladies that seem to be more advertised than the classic woman who makes the proper choices in life. If I could say this honestly, I think that 75% of the women in the world make honest, great choices. All right. Choices like, what kind of mate to deal with, who do you want to be with the rest of your life, stuff like that. But I think it starts at a young age. And I think it also starts in the subconscious and you not believing in the fact that you, ladies, are enough. I think you're intimidated by good men. I'll say that again. I think ladies, specifically the ones that struggle with men who may have had chances with great men but didn't choose them, for whatever reason, I think you're intimidated by good, great, kingly men. Now, I could be speaking specifically to my black women, but I'm talking about women in general in this one. I honestly believe that the idea, the concept of shooting your shot isn't just for a man. And I also think that eyeballing me from across the way in a bar is not your attempt at shooting your shot. But what happens after you shoot the shot, right? And you find out this guy is everything that you want. A lot of women run away from everything that they ask for. Women ask for a man that listens, that can take charge, that, works hard and finds a way to bring money in to take care of the bills. And then you have the physical aspects. A lot of them like them tall, dark, handsome type of thing, big dick, great at sex in general, wants to have kids, only wants them. You have a few women that, are, and I should say starting more than a few women now who are looking for men who want to be in polygamous relationships. But I think when you run across a man who was raised by both parents, by a single parent, doesn't matter, but found the tools to create and complete himself to be a great, kingly man, you start doubting yourself. Do I deserve this individual? Maybe he's too smart for me. What if he starts talking about astrophysics? We don't have anything in common. I don't You don't give yourself enough credit, ladies. In all honesty, I think you shoot yourself in the foot when you realize that you're working with a man with purpose. It's about to get deep. It's about to get hot. So I got to take this black and mild out for a moment here. I think you shoot yourself in the foot and get nervous and then get angry with yourself when you find out that somebody else that's not you ends up with that person that could have been your perfect person. And instead of just admitting that it was you that chickened out, that it was you that wasn't up to the task, you say they were lame or geeky or nerdy or whatever BS excuse, not knowing that that damages that man, that boy becoming a man. When that man looking to become a husband, that damages him. He thinks something wrong with him. Let's take it back a little bit. You bump into a guy, you know, he physically, all the aesthetics, he's aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. You know what I'm saying? He takes care of himself in decent shape. Or maybe he's not in shape. He's in the shape you like. So if you like big boys, then he's a big boy. You like him small, skinny, he's skinny. You like him muscular with beards and whatever combination you like aesthetically, he's that. And then you find out he respects his mom. He loves his sisters. The boys he hang out with, yeah, they can be clowning, but they're all about their business. Either they're all entrepreneurs or they're doctors or lawyers, whatever. He's one of the greats, right? Of the many greats. Because that stigma, that phrase that there's not a lot of good men out there is full of shit. It's bullshit. And that tends to come from the women that have tried all the ones that are exactly alike. You try that one guy because you like that type of guy, but you hope they change for you. I.e., you hope that he gets on your level. But that's not the case here, right? What scares you away is that when you bump into a guy, he's great. He becomes a mirror. And you go through a phase of self-reflection. And now you're wondering, are you good enough for him? And I think that's the wrong question to ask yourself. I've had plenty of people tell me later on that, he thought I only dated white girls, and I asked him why. Or thought I only dated Hispanic girls, and I asked him why, knowing that I've dated at least 5 or 6 black women in my life. Why? Well, because when they finally, when they get older, women start telling the truth. You were in show choir with them, and there wasn't many black girls in show choir. This is speaking specifically to the black women, and you were but you played football and you wrestled, and wrestling is not really a black guy. You just didn't seem like the type of guy that would date someone like me. Now, you won't get that honesty out of someone who's, in their 20s, in their early 20s. You won't even get that honesty out of somebody when you're in high school. It's not until they've gone through and the world has given them shit, and the world has given them experiences that they can be honest with themselves. And then this is just one isolated incident. This was multiple women who thought that I may have thought I was too good, or they thought I was too good for them. You see, the question you asked yourself was wrong. What you should have asked yourself is, can we build together? Can I match his gangster? Can I? Will we work together to make sure I can level up too? Let's see, but then that plays on your ego. What do you mean, can I level up? Am I not good enough now? Well, no. Obviously not, if you felt like you had to ask yourself that question. And it becomes a little frustrating because as a young man, you don't know this. You don't understand anything that's going through a woman's mind. Mind you, ladies, this is, while some of this is my speculation, a lot of this is told to me by you. I'm getting this information from you guys. I learn a lot from women. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for women, I wouldn't be where I am today. Shout out to all the moms that fell in love with the Scotty Lewis smile. Shout out to all the women that, out of all the guys, kept me around because they felt like I could do better. But you don't value what you have now, and you didn't look at your potential. You don't know what you have. It's not about what you have right now. Instant gratification means nothing in a relationship, because whether you're in a monogamous or a polygamous relationship, the goal is to enjoy life through. Enjoy certain experiences throughout life. Life is the longest thing you fucking do. Life is not short. So you bump into that guy, and instead of giving him a shot, because in his head, say he thinks something's wrong with him now, because you've already dismissed him, and your pride would say that he was lame, or he was a geek, or he was nerdy, or he didn't look this way, or he may have been the perfect guy for you, and you know it in your heart, but you're confused at the time. I think young people in general are just generally confused. They don't understand the whole concept, and if you don't get some kind of mentorship like your mom and dad and talk to these things, or get a different perspective from a man, what they think when you tell them no, or certain, and a man, not a grown ass boy. And let me clarify something for you ladies out there. Black men don't cheat. And I know a lot of y'all ladies at my job hate when I say that, but they don't. It's a moral code. So whatever relationship you get into, whether it's a monogamous one or a polygamous one or polyamorous or whatever the word is, just know nothing's going to change outside of that with black men. Now, black grown-ass boys who never learned how to be a man. Now, I get a lot of crap from guys who say, well, I was raised by a single mom and it turned out okay. Now, you sound like a bitch right now. Not all of y'all. Some of y'all do end up finding that male influence that locks in the key. Puts it in perspective for you. You figure it all out. I always say that my analogy is black women can raise beautiful watches. I use black boys as watches. And women can craft a beautiful watch. But it takes just a few pieces to turn into a timepiece. And those few pieces come from a man. It doesn't have to be your dad. It could be a good uncle or even a great older friend, a mentor, something of that sort. But that locks it in and turns you into an elegant, a masterwork, a masterpiece of timepiece there. And, some of y'all settle instead for things that you can control. Or you settle where there's drama, where there's excitement. That bad boy. Not that guy who didn't go out to the club at all for the first, 18, 19, 20. Ended up buying 2 houses at 21. You didn't go with that guy because he stayed home all day, all night. He went to work, he hustled, he did what he got to do to get his life together. No, not him. You ended up going out with a guy who ended up being a grown-ass boy Okay, a grown ass boy for years, from 18 to 28, and then he turns around and gets like a city job, becomes maybe an electrician, which makes quite a bit of money, but maybe he works for the city or becomes a garbage man or something like that, right? Not that those aren't respectable jobs, it's just that you get stuck with a boy for a very long time, and you're used to that boy, and you're used to being, he has to step up to your level, in terms where you're talking about bringing things to the table. You call yourself the table, and that's complete shit. No, silly women. Ladies, listen, you are not the table. Okay? You set the table. That's what you do. The table is the relationship. The man brings home the bacon, or the woman brings home the bacon, and the other one, whatever the case is, one sets the table, the other one brings the food. And you build it, and you create a bigger table for more kids and more stuff in your life, and you build that table. But it's simpler and easier to control and to deal with someone who doesn't know how to set the table, because you can talk to them any kind of way you want since you're the one bringing home the bacon. You passed up on what you thought may have been lame, or maybe you didn't think you were good enough for. You passed up on somebody who's building the table and setting it and waiting for you, versus someone who's at home playing your kid's PS4 while you're at work on your second shift or your third shift or whatever, how many jobs you work. Well, good old PP is here to tell you, you are good enough. Okay? We're not perfect. The good guys, we're not perfect. All right? We have plenty of room to grow. And just because you feel like, even financially, you're not adequate enough to be with somebody, there's plenty of instances out here where, you know, someone, without the money but they meet somebody with the money, but they provide value. And see, the end goal is to bring value to another person's life. How much value can you bring? Ladies, can you console this man when the world beats him up out there and he comes back and he lays his head in your chest? Can you allow him to cry without calling him a bitch later on because he is sick of the world and wants to do the best for you? Can you allow him to lay on your lap? Can he be a baby sometimes? And when you're acting a baby, he can console you, and can you allow each other's faults to be discovered, discussed, and worked on instead of just yelling? Charity likes to watch. If some of y'all don't know, Charity is my wife. Charity likes to watch reality TV. I am not a fan. Since Real World or Road Rules, they cut off Road Rules. Because I wanted to be on Road Rules when I was younger. I couldn't wait. Once they cut that off, I was done with reality TV. At that point, I learned that it was all scripted, and this is just purely for your entertainment, so you can have something ratchet to relate to. I'm not that person. I can't stand it. But I watch anime, and Charity does not. She tried me one day and called it cartoons, and I was like, so you want to die? Okay, that's cool. I'm just gonna, put a bunch of rocks under your side of the mattress tonight, and put everything on the top shelf so you can't reach it, and just annoying little things like that. How dare you call anime cartoons? But here's the deal: my wife came down, left her kids up in New York because she wanted to prepare a place. I don't know, maybe like Jesus. Who knows? But she wanted to prepare a place, okay, where it's safe for her kids to come down, where she can make the mistakes to build something. And she bumped into me via fling.com. I don't remember how I had an account or how I even did I pay for a gold account where you can respond and all that. I don't remember any of that. But we met online and the fling went off without a hitch. Sexual energy was there. Um, but I could tell, she wasn't sure if she was up to task, because when she first met me, she told me later on, much later, she thought the way I carried myself, my dick was down to my knee. Ladies, it's not down to my knee. It's not. It's preposterous. Why do I need a dick that big when I have other skills? Even if I did have one that big, there's plenty of guys out there that are like that, but have no skills. So you just got a big log poking you in your lung and it doesn't feel great. But she wasn't sure if she was adequate enough, and sadly enough, I didn't think that I was good enough. I was going through my whole, y'all don't understand that both sides really don't think they're good enough if they're really trying to find somebody to connect with. When Charity came over one time, it's like the first or second time we met. I finally invited her to my apartment. I did not have the gas bill paid, and I didn't have a job. I lost my job. It sucked so bad. So much so that, in Sanford, Florida, where I was living, you paid. Um, you didn't just pay FPL. You had to pay for gas too. In my apartments, everything was gas, and so that also meant that there was no heat. So I told her this, scared that I wasn't adequate enough. That I don't. You probably don't want to come over because my water's cold. I can take the cold shower because I have to, but you probably don't want to. So, don't you know? She said, "Fuck it, I'm down." She thought I was dope enough. She jumped. I know she was scared. You can hear it when she was telling me the story about everything that she was thinking about. She didn't think that she was adequate enough for me. Like, here she comes from New York, where her name rang bells up there, to come down here to the dirty South, where she was, her personality was amazing, but she knew nothing about down here. Meanwhile, I may not have been the man anymore because I'm done partying and stuff, but I was the man. How do you live up to somebody who's got a nice apartment? Okay. Can still bring in food and do all this other stuff, and how do you keep up with that? You get a little nervous, you get concerned. But we worked it out. She jumped, I jumped. We crashed into each other. It's a beautiful mess ever since then. Ladies, don't miss out on a great guy because he doesn't act or look a certain type of way that you think would equal to where you are. You know what I'm saying? If you don't think you're up to his level, well, you know what? The best advice I was ever told was, Scott, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to surround yourself with other millionaires. If there's 5 millionaires in a room and you hang around them long enough, you'll become the sixth. We grew with each other. But in this case, ladies, if you feel like the guy is just better, well, guess what? You will be better too. You will. You just got to hang around him long enough. Eventually, she picked up my slang. I picked up her slang. It's really weird. It's a beautiful thing. But you have to get past your own self-doubt. That turning point sometimes for quite a few ladies that I grew up with, that decision they made to either go with that guy or shun him, and then passively aggressive, be mad passive aggressive, call him lame and whatever, and go back to something she's familiar with, something that may be below her, so she feels good about herself. A guy that may be a boy, a grown boy that may not be on her level, and tell him to level up so she feels good about herself. That time frame led to quite a few of the ladies I know to end up with 50 million kids, and result, they have to become a CNA or some shit, or got to go back home with mom, whatever. A lot of them, but then again, quite a few of them, they made it on their own regardless, and are doing great. I'm speaking to those ones who, if they could go back in time to make the right choice, they would. And to the ones in the future now, listen, there are great. And I hate hearing that there aren't any good men out there. Quit lying to yourself, because only the negative gets advertised more than a positive. All right, there's a boy who beat stage 4 cancer, a little black boy. You know how many likes he probably got? Probably nowhere near as many as the likes that niggas ain't shit comments that get on Instagram and Facebook. Those kind of posts, they get all the comments, all the yes girl, all the period, all of that shit. Right? So it looks like there's more of ain't shit dudes out there in the world than there really are. And it's, unfortunately, through statistics, that there are more strong black men at home with their children and their wives and, wife or wives, than there are not. But bad press sometimes flows, a lie will flow faster than the truth. So I just wanted to talk to you guys tonight, ladies. Look, you're okay as long as you're willing to step up to his level as well. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hell because I'm a guy and it sounds like I'm being misogynistic and all this other stuff. But no, I actually got a lot of this information from another woman who told me, who put me up on game, and I just compared it and over time watched the type of women that I were totally into. That some just fell on the wayside because they didn't think, I don't know. I find out later, I thought that I wasn't good enough. Find out I was probably better than them. Or they didn't feel like they were adequate enough. And then there were other women who turned me down that turned out to be great, and that's cool. And I was just ugly to them, so that's let's not let this I don't want to lie to you guys and just think that this is how it is. Like, you just don't think that you're good enough. Sometimes we just ugly, and it's okay. You want to be physically attracted to the guy, and that's cool. You're adequate enough. You're more than adequate enough. You're good. You're going through things in your life. Understandable. But give yourself the benefit of the doubt because you're great. You're more powerful than you realize, and that men do really have to relate on women. We really do. The straight men or whatever. We do rely on powerful women, women that know their worth, to help bolster our strength as well. And I just wanted to talk about that with you guys ladies tonight. There are tons of good men out there, especially black men. There's tons of good black men, okay, out there. But here's what you got to understand: when you run to a strong king type black man like myself, you're gonna get the real up front. And that's what you guys aren't used to that as well. You're used to a guy that'll lie to you and be like, no, I don't think this, I think that, or whatever, and don't tell the truth. I'll be honest with you. Up front, I told Charity, I said, listen, I'm kind of curious about all kinds of things. You're bisexual, that's dope. I'm curious about, polyamorous, still didn't know anything about it, but I got enough love for multiple women, I think. Personally, I just think, for right now, hey, let's just focus on us and get better first, and then we'll discuss that at a later date. And men like me will put that on Front Street for you. Tell you from the beginning, I want more. And if he does that at the beginning, apparently he knows something that you don't just yet. And that honesty is what allows us to put the ball in your court to make a decision. Do I stay or do I leave? Do I want to be the only one? Am I curious about this? Like, I want to be president. Charity hates the idea that I want to run for president. I've always said I wanted to run for president. I truly feel like I would make a difference. Or I'd get killed. I'd get assassinated probably. But I'm putting it out on Front Street for you. Now you need to make a decision because she told me she liked girls. I needed to make a decision at that point. Cause what if she wanted to go, will she get that itch where, it could just turn on one day? I don't feel like fucking with you. I want a girl. I have to live with that. So the fact that you're honest up front at the very beginning is very powerful. And sometimes some women just can't handle it. I don't know if it's like the whole religious background thing, or maybe because he's too assertive, telling you what he wants, and you're just like, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. Whatever the case is, but those are the best relationships if they tell you up front. The man tells you, hey, look, I told Charity I was feeling one of my homegirls. Now she's, a pretty decent friend with me now. Really good friend she is. But I was waiting like 7 years to date this girl. I don't know why. I was enthralled with this woman, and next thing I told Charity about that. And I wanted to be honest up front. And so, we kind of broke it off over the phone. It was mutual. She goes, go check her out and see how you feel. Go do that, because I don't want no regrets. And I did. And it wasn't all that great. It didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out. I mean, I was bad. She didn't want to be with me. I was singing to the girl and everything. It was embarrassing. I'll never, ever, ever do that ever again. I'm glad I don't have to, but I came back to her, and she was like, I knew it. It was just a matter of wearing you down. She put so much value in me. Like, she knew I was just the guy for her. I was everything. I am everything. You know when a man hears that from a woman, that, it can't be anybody else. It has to be you, and gives you solid reasons why you're a good, solid man. That makes you want to be more. That makes you want to just take on the entire world all for her. And you women have the ability to do that. And it only takes a whisper. My mom didn't raise her voice often when it came to my dad. If something was like, if they were in the room together, she was, and he'd get up out of the bed if he had to, because he was disabled. But he would hurt himself to make sure my mom had whatever it is she desired. Because my mom spoke power into my dad. She knew her strength. She knew what her abilities were. If she did raise her voice, guess what? One of us 3 kids had to get it. It was time for a whooping. Because somebody fucked up. She's mad. And dad ain't going to bed with no mad wife. And I'm the same way. And women, you have that ability to do that. To change the course of a man who's already on the right path. Not you. You can't change a grown ass boy. You can't. He has to be one. He has to sacrifice and want to be a man first. So instead of running to these girls and keep giving these guys chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. And trust me, I'm not judging people who go to jail. I went to jail 3 times in my life. But I didn't go in there for nothing. Being drug related or murder. Nothing serious. But she bailed my black ass out of jail twice. And even after telling her about the time I went to jail before that, and still spoke power into me. And to this day, there's nothing I wouldn't do, because she overcame her initial fear of not being on my level, which empowered me to feel like maybe I could step up to her level because of what I saw. And that's it. It really is. That's as they say, is that. The rest is history. So I just wanted to share that with you ladies tonight. I'm not doing it to beat you down. I'm doing it because I want to empower you, because I heard it from another woman who was saying, thought the same thing. And it was just like, wow. I'd love to hear your feedback about this and information or anything. You got questions, concerns, comments, anything like that. Feel free, put a little comment here on SoundCloud, about it, or you got iTunes, drop a little note, follow your boy, the Panther Spot Podcast, on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. It's on Google Play. It's on SoundCloud. And if you like any of this any of this power that comes from my lips, any of this noise, any of this peace breaks the static, any of this nonsense, this craziness that comes out of my mouth, and you want to support my content, myself, me, myself and my show and my content, please go to patreon.com/the Panther Spot and donate. Become a tribe member. It's only $1 a month, and then there are other levels that you can go through and say you want to donate. I got somebody that's donating $50 a month right now. It's crazy. She sees power in what I say, and it just feels good that there are people out there that care about what I have to say, and knowing that I say it from a place of love. So, patreon.com/the Panther Spot. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or philosophy_Panther. Same thing on Twitter, Philo_Panther. Just hit me up, saying, let me know how you feel about things. Support my content on my page, and I'll be back to talk more about this stuff. And I got some stuff I gotta drill into the guys. So ladies, if you're listening, I know you're gonna love that part of the show. And coming up Monday, I'll be doing I'll have a special podcast, Panther Spot podcast. I'm gonna invite a couple of adult dancers, bring some scrippers, if you will, on the show. And we're gonna discuss. I want to hear things from a woman's perspective of things that they go through in the adult industry, even on the light level of stripping, and even being a waitress in a strip club. I love everybody. I love all my fans. I love you guys. I love my supporters. And this message specifically is for my black family. Family, if you can't do it every day, do it once a week. If you can't do it once a week, do it once a month. If you can't even do it once a month, do it as often as you can in a year. Please always think, act, buy black. The most important of those three is to buy black, because we can't make changes in this world with voting. Voting doesn't work by itself. The gay community figured that out, springboarded piggybacked off our struggle, off our marching, and started putting money in politicians' hands. Started creating wealth on the first floor, and took that and put their homosexual, their LGBTQ members in Congress, in the politics, and got changes. So much so that even today there's word about trying to get reparations for LGBTQ members. And that's something. We can do the same thing, but it starts with creating a business, buying black, buying within the community, flipping the dollar multiple times, and then, voting me for mayor, governor, House representative, and then president. I love you guys. Have a great night.